Okay, let's dive right in. We're looking at some brand new government data today, and it really suggests we might be seeing a huge shift for Tesla's robotaxi plans. So let's unpack what these numbers really mean. And here's the most dramatic claim right off the bat. Get this. According to the latest US government report that tracks this stuff, Tesla's robotaxi fleet in Austin literally doubled its safety record. It cut its incident rate in half in just 1 month. And it seems like that huge jump in safety immediately unlocked the next phase, deployment. In just the 2 days after that data came out, 42 new robotaxis hit the streets. The source material we're looking at suggests this isn't just a test anymore. This is the start of the real scaling. So, is this for real? Are we actually at a robotaxi inflection point? We're going to dig into both the safety claims and the scaling to see what's really happening here. So here's a quick look at the numbers. The total fleet is sitting at 372 cars between Austin and the Bay Area. But the really interesting part is the projection. One analyst we're citing says that based on this new speed, the fleet could be on track for 1,800 vehicles by April 2026. Now, that kind of growth is only possible if the cars are safe, right? So this is the big question. What do these safety numbers and these reports about incidents actually tell us? And this is where we really have to decode the data, because the headlines you see about crashes often don't paint the full picture. Heck, the word crash itself can be pretty misleading. You know, what's really fascinating is the official definition of a crash. The government agency NHTSA makes these companies report everything. I'm talking a tiny bump in a parking lot. Even if the robotaxi is just sitting there and somebody else hits it, it gets reported as an incident. You and I, we'd never report something like that. And this slide right here really puts it all into perspective. If you look at the incidents where the robotaxi was actually at fault, the vast majority happened at less than 8 miles an hour. And get this, one of the so-called crashes on the log happened when a city bus hit the robotaxi while it was completely stopped. So the main argument from the analyst in our source material is pretty simple. Once you filter out all this noise, the parking lot dings, the times the car wasn't even at fault, the real underlying safety trend looks much, much stronger. Okay, so now let's talk about the competition. The source material really frames this as a tale of two completely different software philosophies when you look at Tesla versus Waymo. It's really two different worlds. On one side, you've got Tesla betting everything on AI, neural nets, and vision from cameras, with a whole fleet that's constantly learning from real-world driving. And on the other side, you've got Waymo, which has long relied on hand-coded rules, LiDAR, and operating inside very specific, pre-mapped areas. Now, this chart from the analyst is really the centerpiece of the whole comparison. It shows the number of miles driven for every at-fault incident, and what it claims to show is pretty stark. Waymo's safety improvements look kind of flat, while Tesla's are on this crazy accelerating curve, recently hitting an estimated 417,000 miles between incidents. And here's the really provocative take from the source explaining that difference. The argument is that Waymo's hand-coded approach has basically hit a wall, that it's reached a local maximum, a performance ceiling that's still below a human driver. So all of this leads to a pretty logical question, right? If the tech is getting better this fast, what's actually stopping a massive rollout? Most people just assume it's all about regulation. But the source material we're looking at really pushes back on that idea. It actually tries to debunk some of what it calls common myths about the regulatory hurdles. The source points to 3 key facts. 1, in the US, car makers actually self-certify their vehicles. 2, big states like California, Texas, and Florida have already approved robotaxis. And 3, that federal cap you hear about, it only applies to cars designed from the ground up, without a steering wheel. So what's the bottom line here? It's this. The source argues there's no regulatory rule stopping Tesla from deploying tens of thousands of Model Ys with steering wheels as robotaxis right now, just like Waymo already does. The only thing they're waiting on is their own confidence to scale up safely. And this all leads to the final projection. Based on the improvement curve we're seeing, the analyst projects that the fleet safety could actually surpass the average human driver, that's about 700,000 miles per incident, as early as March 2026. So we'll leave you with this final thought. We have an analyst, using the latest official data, now predicting that robotaxis could be statistically safer than a human driver in just over a year from now. If that prediction actually holds true, what do you think happens next?